Hey guys, Echo here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Winter 2021 anime season. Yeah, it took me a really long time to finish all of this, and I know that Winter 2021 ended like a month or so ago. But yeah, in my defense, how long would it take you to watch all of that? Then again, I didn't actually watch everything. I watched what seemed interesting to me, and anything really rated over 7 stars on my anime list, so but still, it was a lot. I'll just be going down like the list on my anime list and then, yeah, giving my review. Starting with the final season of Attack on Titan. Fun fact, I did not watch it, but you don't really need my review for that because everyone and their mom has watched it. Like, look, it has 1,074,000 people that have it added on their My Anime list. You likely don't need my review for that. Moving on. Horimiya. This was super hyped up this year. In case you haven't watched it, I'll read the synopsis and then I'll get into my thoughts about it. On the surface, the thought of Kyoko Hori and Izumi Miyamura getting along would be the last thing in people's minds. After all, Hori has a perfect combination of beauty and brains, while Miyamura appears meek and distant to his fellow classmates. However, a fateful meeting between the two lays both of their hidden selves bare. Even though she is popular at school, Hori has little time to socialize with her friends due to housework. On the other hand, Miyamura lives under the nose of his peers, his body bearing secret tattoos and piercings that make him look like a gentle delinquent. Having opposite personalities yet sharing odd similarities, the two quickly become friends and often spend time together in Hori's home. As they both emerge from their shells, they share with each other a side of themselves concealed from the outside world. Basically, it's a slice of life romance type thing, right? I think I rated this a 7 out of 10. I didn't really get the whole hype around the series, to be honest. Like, before it even became an anime, I was thinking of reading the manga because it had quite a bit of hype around it. And watching the anime, I don't know, I just didn't get it. Like, I've watched romance anime that have interested me more. I did like the character designs and the animation, like that was really good. Like it was basically like a feast for my eyes watching this anime. But other than that, I didn't really get the hype. Like the romance felt a little forced to me. Like it all happened so fast. Maybe I'm just a fan of slow burn. Like I do tend to like it if it's slow burn. At the same time, I did enjoy Tonikawa quite a bit. And that's not super slow burn. I mean, they get married in the first episode. At the same time, like, if it's too slow burn, like, nothing really happens by the last episode of the anime, I also think that's, like, eh. But, yeah, let's get into the characters. So we have Hori. She's nice and all. She's a pretty realistic character. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of girls like her. I know some girls that she reminds me of. But, it's nothing new. Nothing I haven't seen before. As for my personal opinions, like, yeah, it was really funny. I did enjoy some of the comedy. Some of it I didn't really get. Or maybe it was like a language translation thing or something. Or maybe even if it wasn't, I wouldn't find it funny. I don't know. Some of the comedy, like, kind of fell flat for me. But that's just kind of a personal thing. Basically, if I simplify the plot, popular girl gets with not so popular guy. But, like, I don't know, everyone in the series is attractive. Like, in my opinion. Like, none of them are super ugly or anything. And I thought this is going to be a bit of a spoiler. But, like, it was really basic of the author to get Yuki to like Toru. Like, oh yeah, see, there's this girl and she's best friends with this girl. And there's also this guy and the other guy. And guess what? They all end up together. Isn't that great? Or they all end up liking each other. I've seen that a million times. So seeing it here was super underwhelming and predictable. Like, I would have much preferred if they went a different route. Like, we had Sakura liking Toru, but he didn't end up liking her back or anything like that. What I'm basically saying is, it was enjoyable, but I couldn't see why it was super hyped up. Okay, moving on to the next one. Oh gosh. The Promised Neverland Season 2. You've probably heard this, but in case you haven't, Season 1 was fantastic. Like, I really liked it. I think I rated it a 9 out of 10. However, and like, it would have been really good if Cloverworks decided to do the exact same thing with season 1 as they did with season 2. That did not happen. They said, oh, this did really well. Let's just all throw it away into the trash. Fantastic idea. I'll read the synopsis because I'm going to do that for every one of these. Emma, Ray, and the rest of the older children have escaped the confines of the Gracefield house. However, with relentless demons set on capturing them, their arduous battle for freedom has only just begun. Despite venturing into the treacherous wilderness, the children remain optimistic due to their possessions of books written by William Minerva. Coded within his books are messages detailing the world outside the farm, information that can help them survive with the limited resources they have. But when their pursuers draw near, the children soon encounter their most dreadful situation yet. In Yakusoku no Neverland, second season, the children struggle to survive in the strange, ruthless world, striving to find a sanctuary they can truly call home. Oh gosh. So, I'm going to be honest, I only watched the first episode. The first episode, it wasn't that bad. And then they decided to do an anime original after that. Terrible idea. They tried to follow the manga without following the manga. And, I mean, most of the information, I didn't finish this one, this anime. But most of the information I got was that it was terribly rushed because they skipped over important arcs and important character development. And because I heard that it was going to become anime original, I did end up reading the manga, and I'm just super disappointed that there wasn't any good anime adaptation for the next part, because the next part was really good. Like, I really enjoyed the Promised Neverland manga. It's probably one of my favorite mangas. Like, yes, it has its flaws, but I don't care. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, the anime adaptation of the second season is absolute trash. I really encourage you to read the manga. You've probably heard this before, but please read the manga. It's so much better than this. Something that really angers me about this adaptation is that it made Emma just seem like a goody two-shoes and a bit of a Mary Sue, which completely ignores all of the development she had gotten. Like, Emma is one of my favorite protagonists ever. Like, I love her character. Okay, I'm done with ranting. Basically, I probably rated this like a 5 out of 10? Something like that. Yeah. My conclusion? Read the manga. Okay, moving on. Dr. Stone's Stone Wars. I probably rated this an 8 out of 10. I really like Dr. Stone's Season 1. If you enjoyed Season 1, watch Season 2. It's really good. I didn't read the manga, but I'm pretty sure it follows the manga pretty well, so yeah, let me get into the synopsis before I start talking more. Senku has made it his goal to bring back 2 million years of human achievement and revive the entirety of those turned into statues. However, one man stands in his way, Tsukasa Shishuo, who believes that only the fittest of those petrified should be revived. As the snow melts and the spring approaches, Senku and his allies in Ishigami village finish their preparations for their attack on Tsukasa's empire. With the reinvented cell phone model now at their disposal, the Kingdom of Science is ready to launch its newest scheme to recruit the sizable numbers of Tsukasa's army to their side. However, it's a race against time. For every day the Kingdom of Science spends perfecting their inventions, the empire rapidly grows in number. Reuniting with old friends and gaining new allies, Senku and the Kingdom of Science must stop Tsukasa's forces in order to fulfill their goals of restoring humanity and all its creations. With the two sides, each in pursuit of their ideal world, the Stone Wars have now begun. Okay, as I said before, if you enjoyed Season 1, you're going to enjoy Season 2. It's got basically all of the same stuff. We enjoy seeing Senku just like share his knowledge and build new things and to try and survive in this world and to win over Tsukasa. And yeah, it's just really enjoyable. So watch season 1 if you haven't, and then after that watch season 2. Oh gosh. Moving on to the next one, we have Mushoku Tensei Isekai Ittara Honkai Dasu. I'm going to be honest, I did not watch this one, mostly because I just didn't think I would enjoy it. From what I've heard, it has good animation, and I've seen some clips, but the concept of a perverted main character, it can really go two ways these days. It used to be ironic, which was funny, thinking of Konosuba. That I found kind of funny, and maybe the perversion makes him seem more like the main characters feel more realistic, but to a certain extent it just gets uncomfortable to watch. Anyways, I didn't actually watch this, so I can't judge specifically or anything, but it just looks like a basic isekai with just really good animation and a somewhat unique plotline. So yeah, I didn't watch it because it just doesn't seem like I'm the target audience for this type of anime. Re:Zero Season 2 Part 2. I really like Re:Zero. It has its flaws and all, but yeah, I really enjoy it. If you watch Season 1, you'll enjoy Season 2. That's kind of what I said before, but yeah, it applies to this anime because, I mean, we still get something to spare that if you're a masochist, you'd love this anime basically. But we start to see a little more hope in Subaru. The characters are all enjoyable, new characters are introduced, and I like them. They have depth. Their relationship with Subaru and everyone else changes based off of Subaru's actions when he goes back, and it's really interesting to watch. There's also the introduction of the witches. They've been introduced before, but now we actually kind of see them in a way. And the witches are interesting to look at too, their personalities and characters. My main problem would probably be the romance, because it just seems kind of Rem. Both romance interests, it doesn't make any sense to me. Rem and the blonde hair guy, apparently he has a crush on her, and at first I kind of was it's out of nowhere, but it could lead to something, and then it was revealed his age is 14, and I'm nope, never mind, because Rem is 18, and that is a no, we don't do that here. But later on, it's revealed that Rem is in love with the guy with the makeup, the wizard guy, and it hit me out of left field. I didn't see it coming at all, and it felt kind of forced, it didn't need to be there, it felt unnecessary, but other than that aspect, I really enjoyed Season 2, and I recommend you watch Re:Zero if you haven't, and yeah. Moving on to That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime Season 2. Kind of the same thing. If you enjoyed Season 1, you're gonna enjoy Season 2. I rated it a 7 out of 10, and it's just enjoyable looking at this little slime become even more powerful and build up his strength. And, gain friends, and yeah. That was kind of short, but I don't have much to say about That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, other than watch Season 1 if it looks like something you'd enjoy. Moving on to Wonder Egg Priority. I really liked this anime. I rated it an 8 out of 10, I think. Let me read the synopsis. Following the suicide of her best and only friend, Koito Nagase, Ai Oto is left grappling with her new reality. With nothing left to live for, she follows the instructions of a mysterious entity and gets roped into purchasing an egg, or specifically, a Wonder Egg. Upon breaking the egg, in a world that materializes during her sleep, Ai is tasked with saving people from the adversities that come their way. In doing so, she believes that she has moved one step closer to saving her best friend. With this dangerous yet tempting opportunity in the palm of her hands, Ai enters a place where she must recognize the relationship between other people's demons and her own. As past trauma, unforgettable regrets, and innate fears hatch into the bizarre world of Wonder Egg Priority, a young girl discovers the different inner struggles tormenting humankind and rescues them from their worst fears. Quick warning, Wonder Egg Priority deals with some really uncomfortable topics, but I actually really like that because a lot of the time media tries specifically anime, tries to like tiptoe around these types of topics, but it kind of goes head on these topics. And it's really interesting to watch. The first episode confused the heck out of me, but like things get explained later on. So like if you're confused in the first episode, don't worry. I think everyone was. Just keep watching and you'll get what is happening. I like how the cast is a cast of girls. Like we don't really see a cast of like 4 girls being the main character that often. And I just thought that was really neat. Another thing is there's some representation I didn't really expect to see here. And I thought that was really neat, you know? So, yeah, I really recommend this anime. But I will warn you, before you watch it, it handles a lot of sensitive topics. It deals with self-harm. It deals with suicide, as mentioned in the synopsis. And it deals with sexual assault and so much more that I didn't just say. So just be warned that it handles these very difficult topics. So if you can handle that, don't watch it. Otherwise, please watch this anime. It's so good. Moving on to the next one. I haven't watched Quintessential Quintuplets, so yeah, this was another season of it, so I wouldn't be able to watch it anyways. Next one. I didn't watch Kaifuku Jutsushi no Hyari Naoshi because it has a rating below 7. And that was like my baseline because I knew I couldn't finish like every single one of the winter 2021 anime. So moving on. Sk8 was pretty good. I don't really watch many. Actually, I don't think I've ever watched a sports anime. I might be wrong about that. But yeah, I don't watch many sports anime, but a skating anime interested me. So when I first heard about this, like a few months ago before it came out, I was like, oh heck yeah, skating anime, that should be interesting. And then I watched it and I didn't expect any like representation in this either, but it's good to see that like more anime are like, you know, showing LGBTQ stuff as normal. And people called it queer baiting when it's basically said that Langa likes Reki. We don't know Reki's like feelings towards Langa. We don't end up ever knowing that. But like, it's a skating anime. People called it queer baiting because they didn't end up together or whatever. I honestly don't think it's queer baiting because, like I said, it's a skating anime. It's not a romance anime. If there's another season, maybe they'll end up together. Who knows? But I just thought it was a cool little detail for them to add in there. Speaking of another season, if there is another season, I would love to see Reki's younger sister maybe be the protagonist of it because towards the end you can kind of see him teaching her, his siblings, like how to skate, I think. Was it his siblings or was it just her? I don't remember. It's been a hot minute since I watched this. And before I get into anything, let me read the synopsis. High school student Reki-kyun is passionate about one thing, skateboarding. When night falls, he heads to S, an illegal underground race inside a mine where skaters compete in highly dangerous situations. After a loss that results in his skateboard being destroyed and his arm being broken, Reki is now incapable of practicing at all. While working, Reki runs into his new classmate, Langa Hasagawa, a half-Canadian and half-Japanese boy with no skateboarding experience whatsoever. Langa is in desperate need of money. After they both visit S when tasked by Reki's boss, they get into trouble and are forced into a bet that requires Langa to skate in a race. However, the mysterious transfer student holds a trump card that Reki is unaware of, one which might help him win the race in the most unexpected way. Yeah, other than that, it was really enjoyable watching them race against each other, and it probably followed a fairly simple sports anime formula. I wouldn't know. I don't really watch sports anime, but yeah, I found it enjoyable. Moving on to the next one, Beastar's second season. I actually haven't seen season 1, so I cannot say I watched season 2 because I didn't watch season 1, so maybe I will review Beastars another time when I watch the anime. I've heard it's good though. Moving on to the next one, Kemeno Jihen. I really enjoyed this one. I think I rated it a 7 out of 10. Okay, now let me get to the synopsis of Kemeno Jihen. Kohachi Inugami, a detective who specializes in the occult, arrives at a remote village in the Japanese countryside, tasked by a hostess at a local inn to investigate a string of incidents involving rotting, mutilated livestock corpses that has been appearing for seemingly no reason. While surveying, Inugami notices a peculiar young boy working in the fields. Evaded by his peers and called Dorotabo for his stench, the young farmhand is surprised that anybody would take an interest in him. Inugami, piqued with curiosity, enlists Dorotabo in helping him with the investigation, despite scorned looks from the villagers. Unbeknownst to Dorotabo, this investigation will reveal a strange new world to him, one of the beast-like entities known as Kemeno, existing in tandem with humans, along with breathing new purpose into his previously empty life. I actually read the first few chapters of the manga. I don't know why I didn't continue on it. I just kind of forgot, I guess. But yeah, I'm glad it got animated. It's pretty enjoyable. If you like shonen and action, I recommend you watch it. I do wish it had a bit of a larger female cast, but other than that, yeah, it's pretty good. I was a little wary that there would be a lot of fan service, but no, there wasn't a lot like that. Even with the Fox lady, she kind of has big breasts or whatever, but they're not flashed at the camera with anime titty physics or anything like that. So yeah, there's not really any fan service. And also, probably one of my bigger critiques is that, of course, the little fox girl falls for our main character. It's gonna happen. The only girl in the series, or the only girl his age around him, falls for him. Who would have guessed? I mean, it's kind of cliche at this point. Anyways, moving on from that, I do really like the characters. They're all kind of unique. We even have a mini more likable Bakugo, and our main character isn't your basic shonen type main character. And yeah, it's pretty enjoyable. I'd recommend it. Moving on, I kind of dropped watching Seven Deadly Sins after the second season, or was it the third? I think it was the second I dropped it. But apparently it's gotten even worse judging from the score. So yeah, I didn't watch this for a number of reasons. So we'll be moving on. I also didn't watch Oredake Hareru Kakushi Dungeon. Yeah, it kind of just looks like harem trash, and it's rated below a 7. So obviously I wasn't gonna watch that. Moving on to Kumodesu ga Nanika, and let me get into the synopsis. The day is as normal as it can be in high school, as the students peacefully go about their everyday activities until an unprecedented catastrophe strikes the school, killing every person in its wake. Guided by what seems to be a miracle, a handful of students are fortunate enough to be reincarnated into another world as nobles, princes, and other kinds of people with prestigious backgrounds. One girl, however, is not so lucky. Being reborn as a spider of the weakest kind, she immediately experiences the hardships of her dire situation. Even so, she must press on to survive the numerous threats that endanger her life. Discovering that her new world has a system like that of an RPG, she tries her best to hunt down prey and defeat monsters to level up and evolve. As she gradually grows stronger, she hopes one day her efforts will be rewarded and that she will be granted a better life. Oh my gosh, I love this. It's a lot like that time I got reincarnated as a slime, but it's a girl main character and she's reincarnated as a spider, but her classmates also reincarnated into this world, except most of them are human beings. Her classmates we sometimes get a glimpse of, And to be honest, they're the classmates I don't really care much about. They're the basic Isekai type protagonists. And honestly, when the bad guys seemed like they were about to win, I was rooting for the bad guys that they were up against, just so that they would be slightly more interesting. But other than that, like, I really enjoyed like watching this little spider go around and slowly become more powerful. Like, one, I'm pretty weak to anime that have a strong female protagonist without any fan service. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. Gave it an 8 out of 10, I think. Of course, it's not complete, so that may not be the final score I give it, but for now, yeah, an 8 out of 10 describes my enjoyment of this anime. Plus, no fan service, hell yeah. I'm not a huge fan service, as you can tell. If it's done tastefully, I don't usually mind, though. Another thing I forgot to mention about this anime is it does have some CGI elements, but I don't really mind the CGI, if I'm being honest. Like, it's not super bad or anything, and yeah. Besides that, please watch this. I love this anime. Moving on to the next one. Ittara Tomozaki-Kun. Oh my. I made a video about this. It's actually the previous video I made before this one. And from that video you can tell that I do not like this anime. If you'd like to hear why, just watch the previous video. For now, I'll read the synopsis and tell you my thoughts. Fumiya Tomozaki is Japan's best player in the online game Attack Families, commonly known as TACFAM. Despite holding such a revered title, a lack of social skills and amiability causes him to fall short in everyday high school life. Failing to have any friends, he blames the convoluted mechanics and unfair rules of life, forcing him to give up and proclaim himself a bottom-tier character in this game. After a fateful meeting with another top-tier TACFAM player, Fumiya is shocked to discover the player's true identity. Aoi Hinami, a popular, smart, and sociable classmate who is the complete opposite of himself. Aoi, surprised at how inept Fumiya is at everything besides TACFAM, decides to assist him into succeeding in what she calls the greatest game of them all. Through the gruesome ordeals of social interactions and relationships, Fumiya begins to advance Tier's inglorious game of life. Yeah, I don't recommend this one at all. The only ones I recommend it to are guys that are a lot like the main character at the start. People who are loners with no friends or not many friends and want a perfect girl to teach them how to do everything in life with gaming references. If you want to know more about my thoughts on this, watch my previous video. For now, I'll be moving on. Cells at Work, Season 2. I watched Season 1, enjoyed it. My friend who loves biology, I watched it with her, and it's probably one of her favorite animes. So if you're interested in learning about how the body works or anything, it's actually kind of educational, but that doesn't mean it's boring. It's still interesting to watch. So yeah, I haven't completed it, but basically if you like Season 1, you'll likely like Season 2. Moving on, I did watch the first few seasons of Log Horizon. I didn't watch this one because I like Log Horizon's concept, but it has gotten kind of draggy, so I just wasn't interested in watching the next season. Oh gosh, that is a long title. As I've explained before, it has a score below 7, so I did not watch it. Cells at Work Code Black is basically Cells at Work, but a little darker, dealing with darker issues like what happens when you abuse your body, basically. So if you like Cells at Work, watch Cells at Work Black. The second season of Yuru Camp. Okay, let me read the synopsis. Having spent Christmas camping with her new friends, Rin Shimura embarks on a solo camping trip to see the New Year sunrise by the sea. All goes according to plan until unforeseen weather blocks the roads home, making a return trip impossible. Rin, who is now stranded for a few days, is invited by Nadeshiko Kagamihara to stay at her grandmother's house. What is supposed to be a 2-day trip becomes an extended period of sightseeing and new experiences for Rin. She encounters some new and old faces along the way, Yuru Camp Season 2 continues the story of Rin, Nadeshiko, and their friends as they further explore the joys of camping. I love Yuru Camp. I watched the first season before I knew like cute girls doing cute things was a whole subgenre of anime, but it's just really enjoyable to watch. Like, you sit down and get comfortable and just watch this anime. I may be a little biased because it is my comfort anime, but if you want to watch something wholesome and laid back, just watch Yuru Camp, please. So yeah, I give it an 8 out of 10. Moving on, Heaven's Design Team. Let me read the synopsis for you. In the beginning, God created the heavens and earth. He also sought after a wide variety of animals to populate the planet. However, he felt that it was too tiresome to think of new ideas with his criteria. To address this problem, God appointed an organization, the Heaven's Design Team, to do the work instead. Shimoda, a newly hired angel who serves as the mediator between God and the design team. As he steps into his role, he witnesses his coworkers conceive interesting ideas for many unique life forms according to God's desires, from giraffes and snakes to birds, anteaters, and everything in between. The possibilities for different animals species are endless. This was a really fun anime to watch. I gave it like a 7 out of 10. It has some nice comedy, and you actually get to learn quite a bit from it. If you're interested in just seeing like why certain animals evolved to be a certain way instead of another way, yeah, watch this. It's fun to watch and I recommend you watch it. Something I didn't expect was there being a queer character, or at least she seems like it, because there is this one character who appears to have a male body and like has a male voice actor, but is referred to by she, her pronouns and also presents themselves in a very feminine way. And there was a bath scene and she went into the girls' bath with everyone else, which makes me think that perhaps she's maybe like a trans woman or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but it was an unexpected place to see some queer rep, so I kind of appreciate that. And it's like, the reason why I'm so unsure about it is because it's like never really mentioned, and that I slightly appreciate as well, because, you know, it's just something it's just something that's there and everyone's like okay with, never pointed out or anything like that. It's normal. Anyways, moving on. Honestly, I'm surprised that Kaibyoi Ramune has a 7.16 average rating on here, because I gave it an 8. Let me read the synopsis. As long as hearts exist inside people, there will always be those who suffer. And then something strange enters their mind and causes a strange disease to manifest itself in the body. The illness, which is called a mystery disease, is unknown to most, but certainly exists. There is a doctor and apprentice who fight the disease, which modern medicine cannot cure. His name is Ramune. He acts freely all the time, is foul-mouthed, and doesn't look like a doctor. However, once he is confronted with the mysterious disease, he is able to quickly uncover the root cause of his patients' deep-seated distress and cure them. And beyond that, I really enjoyed this anime. For one, the characters all had fun personalities, and the journey that you go through with them each episode, just the storyline in general, is really enjoyable. There's no fan service, and I was a little cautious at first because there is like this 100-year-old grandma introduced, but she looks like a literal middle schooler, maybe elementary schooler, I don't know. Looks super young, so I was afraid that maybe they were going to like try to sexualize her because she's technically like super old, but that never happens, and I'm super glad. So it's basically like having an old elementary schooler with a lot of wisdom. Other than that, yeah, it's pretty enjoyable and I recommend this anime. The last anime I'll be talking about here is Idoly Pride. Let me start off with a synopsis. To become an idol, I shed blood, sweat, and tears. Even so, I push on. I want to shine. I want to earn it. I want to become number one. I want to smile. I want to make my dreams come true. I want to look back at a sea of people. I want to be noticed. I want to find it. I want to overcome obstacles. I only have pride inside of my chest. No one is in the spotlight from the beginning. Everyone is weak. Only those who do not break will reach the highest peak to become an idol. This is the story of idols who face big dreams and harsh reality. To be honest, I don't really agree with the last part of that summary, because there's not a lot of harsh reality that these idols face. Granted, it's a 12-episode anime, but they basically win at everything. But before I get into that, this is somewhat enjoyable. I haven't watched many idol anime in the past, so I don't have a whole lot to go off of, but it's somewhat enjoyable. I'd give it a 7 out of 10, and a lot of the songs were a little basic. I did like one of the songs enough to put it on my playlist though, called Song for You. I recommend you at least check out that song if you don't check out the anime. If you like idol anime, yeah, I'd recommend you check this out. Talking about the first episode, we basically see this young idol's career go by pretty fast because she eventually dies, and then we see her sister's story is basically what we see next, as her sister tries to follow in her footsteps to become an idol. But the thing that makes this anime different is that the older sister who had died became a ghost, and she was sort of just hanging around. My only complaint about this anime is I wish that they did more with the sister's ghosts. I feel like there was a lot of potential there that they just didn't tap into. Other than that, somewhat enjoyable. Check it out if you like idol anime. And those were all of the anime that I watched from the winter 2021 anime season. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you next video. Bye!